Hey guys, welcome back to Bike Commuter Hero. This is kind of an unusual episode. It's a commute with me style episode. I thought I would show you my commute. I've received a few questions in the comments asking where I was based, and some people commented on how nice the city was, so let me just show you around. This is my commute in Budapest, Hungary. Now, this is not one of the nicer parts, but it's pretty nice overall. So Budapest is cut in half by the Danube, and we're going to cross the Danube, see some of the city center, and maybe get a glimpse of the parliament. Some nicer parts. And today is a really nice day too, really sunny. I hope the sun won't be blinding us too much. And I am in a fortunate position of having a 10-mile commute that is mostly on either dedicated cycle paths or separated bike lanes or shared cycle paths with pedestrians, or at least a painted bike lane. And there's also a segment that is among cars, but definitely I've seen commutes that are a lot worse than this one. And now, coming up on the bridge, I'm now in the northern part of the city, and this is going home from work. I live in the south of Budapest. So we're going to ride along the Danube, which is really nice. So here I am halfway through the bridge, and I'm about to get off the bridge onto the island. There's this really beautiful island called Margaret Island in Budapest. It's uninhabited, but there are some hotels, and it's a nice recreation area for people to come to visit in their free time. Welcome to the island. The weather is pretty beautiful. There's plenty of sun, probably a bit too much for the camera. You always see a lot of people doing sports here, a lot of cyclists, a lot of people running. There's a really nice running track here. It's really easy on the knee. And today I'm not actually commuting on my own commuter bike. It's my brother's bike. And I'm testing out these handlebars, the Moloko bars, which I bought for my own bike a few weeks ago, and I couldn't fit on. So there is a video topic right there. How I messed it up with the Moloko bars. My handlebar cables, the cables for the brakes were just a bit too short. So when I put on the brakes and the shifters, I couldn't put on the handlebar. So I have to make some modifications either to the cables or to the stem. But because I have hydraulic disc brakes, I didn't want to mess with the cables, because having to replace the tube and then bleeding it and filling it up, just I didn't feel like doing it. Also because I wanted to test the Moloko bars and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a long-term solution or a long-term change. I said I might as well try it on my brother's because that has longer cables. And so far, I must say, I really like it, although it does change how your bike handles. But it gives me several hand positions. It gives me the wide position. I can bring my hands in closer together. I can be on the horns. I can hold it here. There's plenty of room for accessories. So I really like it. But this bike is a bit too big for me. My brother is a bit taller than I am, and this bike is just a tiny bit too big. I think I would need the next size down. And also, with these handlebars not being raised at all and being quite far out, I just feel a little bit too stretched on the bike. And also, it's a slower bike than mine. It has bigger tires, like bigger meats than mine, but it's still nice. Any day that you ride your bike is a great day. I love this part of my commute. Look at the church ruins. Really beautiful. As you can see, there is no dedicated cycle path here, but that doesn't matter because there's no traffic here. It's mostly buses and cars with permit only. I usually see a lot of bike commuters here as well, especially in the morning. I actually wasn't sure whether I was going to make this video, but I said, why not give it a try, and you guys can let me know if this is something that you enjoy or you don't really want to see more of, in which case it's probably going to flop on YouTube and not going to be recommended, but some of you might find this interesting. Also, to give you a little background story of the YouTube channel. And before I do, let me just do a loop here, just to show you this. It's closed down, but I think I might have some footage saved on my hard drive. There is a really nice fountain here, a musical fountain. That plays and dances to the tunes that play on the speakers on the square. So the background story of this channel and my bike commuting is that I used to live in Ireland, in Dublin, more specifically, and I didn't bike commute there. I used to do sports, but I didn't really bike commute. And there was a guy called Simon. He used to commute every day, and he had a 12-mile commute, I believe. It was quite hilly, and very often it rained as well. And we used to make fun of him because he didn't have a driver's license, which is pretty common in Ireland. A lot of people don't have driver's licenses. I had several friends, male friends, like buddies whose wife drove the car and they didn't have a license. They preferred cycling or taking public transport. So anyway, we moved back to Hungary with the family. It was about 3.5 years ago. We moved back to Hungary, where both my wife and I am from, and we sold one of the cars in Ireland, and we held on to a family car. And I just didn't feel like buying a car here. And I also knew that as kids were growing, I wouldn't have as much time to do sports at home as I did when they were small. So I said, my way of keeping fit is going to be bike commuting. And I sort of became the Simon that I used to make fun of at my workplace. I am the guy who bike commutes year round, no matter the weather. So this bridge that we crossed here is called Margaret Bridge, and so both Margaret Bridge and the bridge above called Arpad, they both cross the Danube and touch on the extreme ends of the Margaret Island. A few years ago, I think it was 2.5 years ago, something unfortunate happened here at the Margaret Bridge. Some of you might have heard about the Mermaid, the little excursion ship that sunk because it crashed with another bigger ship. It happened right here under the bridge. And now this part is pretty nice. You can see the Parliament there in the distance. And this is a dedicated cycle path, which is really nice. today is one of those strange days of the year where it gets really cold. In the morning it was around freezing point, and now it's quite nice and warm, so you don't really know how to dress in the morning. You have to dress much warmer. It's usually my hands that get really cold, and I have a nice pair of winter gloves for cycling, but when it gets really cold, even colder than this, then I use these bar mitts. I find those really handy because the worst part of riding your bike in the winter and getting cold hands comes from the wind chill, and that completely protects me from wind chill. So I can be with a very light pair of gloves if I have the bar mitts on. So we've got the Parliament there. So something funny happened to me here a few years ago. I was riding the bike. Let me actually show you this. Let's get off the bike here. I was riding not this bike, but my other bike, and right here in front of the Parliament, I had my chain that was a bit too loose, and much looser than it is now, and it was a lot longer. It came down, and as the bicycle moved, the chain hit the valve core, and the valve core just broke. The stem broke off completely. All I heard was a big bang, and suddenly the tire was completely deflated. So, luckily I had a spare inner tube with me, as I always do. And if you are wondering what my strategy is for dealing with flats, I'm going to put a video link in the corner so you can check it out. Because if you bike commute, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared to deal with some mechanical issues. And here in the distance you see the chain bridge, which is now under renovation. So it's going to be another year or two before we can use it again. And it's really beautiful. The oldest bridge still in existence that connects Buda with Pest. And normally I would go straight, but now I have to make a little detour. Now we're getting to the very heart of the city. We're going to see the castle right in front of us. The Castle of Buda. It's a really nice zone. And there, in the distance, you see a big statue of a zero. And that is because that is the reference point as we measure distance here in Hungary. Oh, something is really loud. Across here. Look at this beauty as well. It's funny how you get used to your own setup. There is no bell on this bike. When I took off my brother's handlebar, I forgot to mount his bell on this one, and I really miss it. It's just such a nice and gentle way of letting people know that somebody's coming. Look at these people. Luckily they notice me. I hate the idea of shouting. It could be just me. I could be a bit too self-conscious, but it just doesn't sit well with me. Also because when you shout at people, they don't know what to expect. When they hear the bell, they know what it is exactly. They know it's a bike coming. And here in front of us is St. Gerald's Hill. Elizabeth Bridge, beautiful white one here, really nice. It's named after Elizabeth, not Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, not the saint, but Elizabeth Sissi, the Austro-Hungarian Emperor's wife, Franz Joseph's wife. She was particularly fond of Hungarians. Now while this guy is looking around, he's going to run into me. Again, here we are sharing the road or the footpath with pedestrians. It's not ideal. It's not the best solution. And I know probably Tom from Shifter or others would take off some points seeing this. It's not ideal, but it's a lot better than being out there trying to weave around cars. Tom, if you happen to see this, I love your channel. Keep up the good work. Liberty Bridge, this nice green one, with the central marketplace on the other side, which is really nice. I actually featured that in one of my previous videos. If you want to go and check it out, that is really nice, especially around Christmas time. It's a really nice market. I featured it in the What Height Should Your Saddle Be episode. And here we've got Gerald's Bath and the Gerald's Hotel and the Cave Church. It's a chapel carved into the hill. It's really beautiful. That's actually where I first met my wife. And now we have to say bye-bye to the Danube. This area has also become quite popular in recent times. There's a lot of bars and restaurants and just go and grab an ice cream place. This bike shop here, it's a Hungarian brand, I believe. Pretty expensive too. Okay, there's a red light here. And now we can cross. I'm supposed to be pushing the bike here. Don't tell anyone. It's just between you and me. And the nice thing here is, although there is no enter sign, bikes can still go against the grain. I'm also pretty curious to find out how the audio turns out. I'm using the Insta360 1R, and the onboard mic is pretty crappy, but thankfully it has an input, a mic jack input, so I can connect an external audio source, and that's what I'm doing now. I think you guys, I really hate to say goodbye, but I think you have seen the most beautiful part of my commute. And yeah, let me know what you think, and whether or not you want to see some of these videos with comments. Maybe some highlights. I could take a different route the next time, and that could be quite interesting if we went around the Parliament building. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of content, just hit the like button, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.